Hello, everyone, and welcome to another HRL recap. So this one's going to be after Iowa Speedway round number 10. Going to go through the results first and the points in the schedule as always, and I'll give you guys an update on the future recaps I'm going to do too, because there'll still be a few more left in the season. They're just going to be spread out a little bit like they've been throughout most of the season, to be fair. All right, so Iowa Speedway. So on this doc, one number jumps out to me immediately. 21 on the plus minus for Hunter, which is absolutely insane. And, you know, obviously you could see the overall results going with that insane plus minus. He takes the overall win here, so it's a really, really big win for Hunter. And not just the overall, but he got a moto win in there as well. And 2 second places. So it was a pretty, I mean, this might have been the most dominant Hunter performance of all time. Like, genuinely, it probably was. So let's go through it. So the first moto, Soul took the win in this one, got the night off to a really good start. Hunter did get second place, Slaunch taking a nice podium there. And then in the second moto, this is where Hunter got his on the night, took the moto win here. And it was a pretty insane one too. There were some crashes that just, I don't know how he survived them, but he survived them, put himself in position late, took the win there. I ended up taking second in this one. Roman takes third, gets himself a podium. And then in the third moto, the win goes to Slaunch. And funnily enough, Slaunch and Hunter had a photo finish for second and third in Moto 1. Hunter ended up getting that one. But here we go for Moto 3, where they end up having a photo finish again, but this time for the win. And this time Slaunch gets it. It was really close. But yeah, photo finish for the win, pretty exciting. And Slaunch ended up taking that one. But for Hunter, I mean, I'm sure he would have liked getting another moto win, but he probably knew his results at that point. He was like, you know what, this is like free overall. Like, I'll take the second here. Like, this is still a really good haul in the night. So I'm sure he's not too upset with that one. And then Detail ends up getting his podium on the night here at the end as well. So going through the overall results, again, of course, Hunter 47 points. Myself and Slaunch 6 points off. Not even really that close, to be fair. This was just a great win from him. So 47 points for Hunter, takes the overall win. I get second. Well, Slaunch and I tie second, third. 41 apiece. Soul fourth with 39. Detail fifth with 36. Elite 33. Armada and Roman tie up here 32. And Coop with 9th with 24. Camby 10th with 23. This is your overall results on the night. And let's go over to the points. And the points is going to be the fun one here because I've put some extra work into it. I got some cool things to show in the point standings. Oh yeah, I had that up at first, but we'll get back to that. So let's take a look at the points. That looks fine. All right, so going through the points here. Still myself in the lead, 27-point gap now. Detail and Slaunch very close. Second place, 5-point gap there. Soul and Roman very close for 4th place, only a 4-point gap there. Camby and Hunter now emerging as a battle. They're pretty close here, 10 points. Hunter's now in that range. Armada kind of on his own, 165. Coop kind of on his own, 116. Matt has got Elite close now, and Vulcan, you know, if they show up to races, they could maybe make up some points. But it's after, well, Matt's now out of the range too. So after Coop, it's all drivers that are just showing up for, you know, certain races, not anybody that's like competing in the points past Coop. Coop still, as long as he makes the rest of the rounds, which is you know, we'll see if he can, but as long as he makes the rest of the rounds, Coop could still get a full season in. So he's right there. He's one moto to the good. Matt is 1 moto out. Okay, so now all these stats and all these point standings, you know, all this stuff is nice and interesting to look at, and, you know, I could go through it and analyze it, but I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, like, okay, you know, mulligans, like, when are we going to start looking at that? And I did some research of my own, made my own point standings, just specifically for the recap, just to give you guys an idea of what, like, how things are shaping up with mulligans. So we don't really need this, especially after this upcoming week, because this upcoming week will be when they'll start going into play. So OPIX actually has it set up where the mulligans will be like automatically calculated, I'm pretty sure, in the main doc. And that'll start coming into play again with Portland, so you'll start to see them applied. But I made this for fun, just to get an early look of, you know, what it's looking like at the moment. But again, obviously there's still plenty of motos left, so it's going to evolve. But just to give everybody an idea of how things are shaping up with mulligans as well, because sometimes you don't know. Sometimes it can be really similar to the point standings. Sometimes it can be really big shakeups. So I just decided to do this to give you guys an idea. So taking the 10 for a lot of the field, actually, let's take a look. Full mulligans for Luke, Detail, Slaunch, Soul, Roman, Camby. So taking 10 races off for all of them, taking 8 off for Hunter, taking, 5 off for Armada, 1 off for Coop. So that's what I did, and this is what we ended up with. So I still have the lead with 213, but now, instead of a 27-point gap, it's a 10-point gap to Detail, which is still a big gap, but it's a, it's a workable gap. And as well, also important to mention, interestingly enough, Detail and Slaunch's gap is the same. They still have a 5-point gap between each other. 5-point gap between each other, and Slaunch now to the lead has a 15-point gap instead of what would have been a 32-point gap. So it's still going to take some work, but this is why I wanted to show this, because you look in the main point standings and it's like, oh, championship over, but then you factor in the mulligans and it's like, oh, it's not quite over. Like there's still, it's going to be difficult, but it's still within a range where like these positions could swap. It's still doable with a hot end of the season run for any of these drivers. So that's why I wanted to show this. So the championship is definitely between us 3 at this point, but I definitely just wanted to show that like it's, not just that it's between us 3, but that it's still on. Like it's still on with these point gaps. It's definitely still on. For Slaunch and Detail, they're gonna have to strike some fire and have a really good closeout to the season. But it's certainly possible, and it's still open. It could still be taken by them. And then we go to Soul and Roman, and Soul had a 4-point gap. Now at the mulligans, it's literally a tie. Soul with the tiebreaker, he's got that extra win, so that's huge for him. But literally a tie between Soul and Roman. So yeah, their battle is super close in the actual point standings, and then in my mulligan preview, it's even closer and at a tie. So yeah, we have a 3-way battle for the championship. We have a 2-way battle for 4th and 5th that is literally a tie at the moment. And hey, look at this. Camby and Hunter. Hunter closes in a bit on Camby with the mulligans, and this is a legit battle too, especially with Hunter's really good performance at Iowa. 3-point gap, Camby and Hunter 6th and 7th. We have a really nice close battle there too. So this is nice to see that of the drivers that are, potentially going to make, I would say like Armada through myself will for sure make full starts, and then Coop is like, he might make full starts. So of the 8 drivers that should make full starts, 7 of them have a points battle with at least one other person. That's awesome to see. Definitely love to see that. Obviously there's some points battles here too, but I was just like pointing out that the ones with people getting the full season, and that's they're almost all getting some action. Unfortunately, Armada is the one that's not. He's had an unfortunate season. That Iowa, because we're recapping Iowa, that Moto 2, man, it's just unbelievable. Like his luck, his oval performances genuinely could have been fantastic. Like, I'm not even saying this just to say this. Like, I genuinely think with a few 50-50 coin flips going the other way, Armada could be like a top 5 in the category points in ovals. And let's take a look at where he is. 8th. He's 8th on ovals. I genuinely think he could be top 5. Like, there's been a ridiculous amount of points. An absurd amount of points that Armada's lost on ovals in particular. His street and road performances, his road's actually not that bad. But, I think this is partially, I think the street races this is where, like, he missed races, to be fair. Now that I think about it, I think he just missed races here for a lot of street races. But yeah, so you can improve on those, but his ovals is just unfortunate. Like, that Moto 2, man, oh my god, at least a podium, should have at least gotten a podium. So yeah, that's unfortunate for Armada, but he'll bring it back in the next season. And, maybe close it out. Maybe he's got a couple more oval races. We'll see what he can do. But yeah, so not much else to cover here. Again, there's still some stuff here, some guys that don't have full starts, and if they show up, they could, make up some ground. But I mostly just wanted to cover the people that are like in the, full start championship. But yeah, so hope that's informative, and hope that shows to everybody that like the championship is still on, not just for the top 3, but like Soul and Roman have a great battle. Camby and Hunter have a great battle going. Armada, come on, catch fire. You could make it. You could make it. Come on. I would love to see it. But But yeah, so that's really nice to see that, again, almost our entire full start field has something going on in the points that they're battling with. That's really nice. That's what I love to see. So now that I showed that and gave you guys, painted that picture and showed that there's still a lot of exciting stuff to watch play out in this season, and that these last races still mean a lot, now that I showed that, let's take a look at the schedule and take a look at what those last races are and what we still have left. So, taking a look here at the schedule, what do we have left? We've got 2 road courses, we've got 2 ovals, and one of those road course races being a Triple Crown, and 1 more street race. So for the future recaps, because I said I was going to mention this, we're going to let Portland and Pocono. I'll do a recap after Pocono, because we're going to have a break here, Thanksgiving break. It's technically a week off, but it's almost kind of like 2 weeks off for everybody, so that'll be a really nice break. And then once that break is over, we'll be back in December, and we'll do a nice 3-race run in the beginning of December. 1 of each track type: street course, last street course, last oval, last road course, and the road course Triple Crown, the only road course Triple Crown of the season. So that'll be really fun. So I'll do a recap post Pocono. I'll do a recap pre and post Laguna Seca. So there'll still be 3 more recaps to update you guys on everything left on the season. And we're working on it. I've been talking with detail about it. Laguna, hopefully get that full version out soon. Working on finishing that up. And then I'm sure Opix has got something cooking for Pocono as well, to try to get these tracks that aren't ready yet ready to go here at the end. Obviously, Gateway has been ready for a long time. Toronto, Roman finished up a month and a half ago, maybe a month ago. I don't know. It's more recent, but it's still been a while. And Portland I've had ready for a ridiculous amount of time. So yeah, so those are the tracks that are still coming. And because this recap is going to be the last one until after these, I'll focus on these tracks. So Pocono, when Pocono is done, if you guys aren't familiar with it, it's a triangle. It's in the shape of a triangle. It's kind of like how Indy is like considered an oval track, but it's like a rectangle. Pocono is considered an oval track, but it's really like a triangle shape. It's very unique. Should be another super speedway, like really big type oval. So expect Hog Tona, expect Indy size. So like obviously Iowa, Milwaukee Mile, and Little Texas were not as huge. Pocono should be pretty sizable. So expect that. Expect it to be, I would imagine, the 2nd biggest oval in the season, maybe even the biggest. He might even make it bigger than Indy. We'll see. And yeah, so that'll make it pretty unique, and it's a pretty unique track in real life as well. And really curious to see. I've been curious about Pocono, ever since planning on that track. So really curious to see what Opix cooks up for that. That'll be a fun one. And then obviously next week is Portland. And Portland, our 2nd to last road course race in the season. It's been done since like July. And it's interesting because Portland is the most street course-like road course, I guess. Like, it's a very tight track. The bordering's pretty tight on it. It's not fully walled off, but there is a decent amount of wall action. Like, it's definitely the most street course-like road course track. Like, I think that's a fair way of putting it. But it still has enough of those road course elements to where I wouldn't consider it a street track. It's still more open. It's still more open in general. It's just more closed than most of the road courses. So it's a weird like in between for Portland, but it's a fun track to race on. And I think there's potential for Portland to be a really fun race. And I think it has like good battle potential too. I'm curious to see how this track plays out because, I like how I did it. I like the way it looks. I like the way it races. I think it's a fun track to run laps on. Should be a fun one. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the recap. Hope that was informative with the mulligan stuff. And I'll see you guys at Portland on Friday, and already just like a few days. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And 2 more races in November, and then everybody will get a nice break, and then we'll close out the season. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and have enjoyed the season so far. And again, see you at Portland.